Okay, this is peyote bead weaving, hopefully in 3 minutes. You can use any kind of bead you like, but they need to be a very even size. They need to be the same size between the different batches of beads you've got. So you'd have to buy the slightly more expensive ones, so you make sure you've got them of the same size. Or what I do is I use these, which are picture beads. There's a certain brand name that does a lot of different colours, but these are the non-branded ones. They work just as well, they do the same job, and they're all exactly the same size, and they're pretty much square, so it makes it easier to build a design. So what I do is I've made up a template grid, or a pattern grid, on did it on paint, so it's not a big complex thing, and this pretty much exactly represents the same size as these, so you can actually do it in kind of to scale. So you play about with your design and you try and make something that repeats, because that makes it easier to build up a design. You can just do simple chevrons or simple wavy lines all the way along, and that's easy to copy, or something like this, which is slightly more complicated. So we end up with this. And on this one I started coming through the back of a zip, so that it would be set on there to make a little handbag or purse or makeup bag or whatever. So I'll come back to that in a moment. I'll just show you how to start one off. So there are two ways of doing it. There's an even or an odd count. So odd is better for something like this, where you're anchoring at the top. Otherwise you have to go back and through on yourself a couple of times to get into the right position. So I'm going to show you an even one. So I've knotted in a bead here. I'm just going to put on about 8, I think. Right, so that's my first 8 beads. And now I'm going to put another bead on the thread. Actually, if I do a different colour you can see then. Another bead on, and I'm going to, well, this is going to come up. I'm not going to go through the first bead, I'm going to go through the second. Like that. And then pull that through. Just tweak it a bit. Like that. Put it tight so you can see that I've now created a step and a gap. So then if I put another one, so again, skip one through this one. You can see the pattern building up here. So skip one through. And so with an 8, at the start of 8, you're going to be putting 4 in each time. So here, and then you can turn it and start from this direction. So you've naturally made step spaces for the next beads to go in. So just turn around and do the next layer. Like that. With peyote you do have to maintain tension, because if you drop tension you end up losing a bead somewhere. You can do peyote with 2 beads at a time or more, but as long as the spacing between is kept even. So that is a basic peyote weave. The only way to get a straight line in peyote is that way. Everything else is going to be wavy or chevron, diamonds, diamond pattern like that. So you can do kind of flowers, just building up that way. Or if you get a little bit more confident, you can actually use the picture beads as they're intended by making a small plate and the edge of the top here, and you can actually make a box completely out of picture beads using peyote. The issues that came with this has been in use for 3 or 4 years now, and there is kind of weakness where you've got a joint where you've got the pivot, so here, and bits here that have come off on the corners. That's, I think, because I only used a 2 wide block for the edge here, so I should have gone for a 3. That would have given it more stability. As it is, it's a fine little box, does what it needs to do. So when you've got a bit more confidence in your peyote and you start to make things like this, you build it onto a zip, so it saves your process towards the end, so you don't have to then put it onto a zip. And anytime you start or finish a knot, you need to use something like clear nail varnish or some glue just to set it in. And here I've gone around my pattern twice, and I've got to the point where these will interlock. But because this is a smaller bag, I can't do up the sides and then turn it through because it will be too tight to do that and all the thread will split. So I'm going to push back the zip and turn it the right way out like this. So like I said, this is much easier if you've got a bigger bag to start with, a bigger item to start with. This is where you can't really use a beading nylon because it wouldn't stand up to this kind of treatment. So I'm using a crochet yarn. It works just as well. So make sure that corner's pushed out. So here you can see I've done the pattern down and then just looped over with a couple of beads just to give it some width. What's happened there? It's got tangled over. Right, okay, so that's sitting right now. So I've got the end here that I can sort out when I'm ready. Pull that up a little bit so it's out of the way. Okay, and you can see where the pattern interlocks here. So you need to come back with your thread, and don't worry about it being loose. You just go through each of the beads in turn, making sure they're slotting into their appropriate spaces. The top here, you can just tidy up the zip by just tucking in like that, and then you can sort that out when you're finished. Right, so I've got them all linked, so just gentle pressure and you'll see them all slotting into place, except for that one fighting. They all sit in nice and neat, and then just tuck in your zip ends and make sure you finish this off by anchoring back through the top two here. Okay, and then if you do your zip up, keep them tucked in. That gives you an idea where the end should be. Zip to there. And just run a stitch through the back end of the zip here.